Hello again, YouTube. This is the Truth Man giving you the truth. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel. And remember, because it's all subjects, it's not going to always be the truth. It could be my truth on some things, and it could be my opinion on something. But for the most part, I deal with subjects where I can put the truth out there. And on this one, I want to talk about college sports. In particular, the NIL thing. For those of you who don't know, NIL means name, image, and likeness. And I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they finally given these guys an opportunity for their family's sake. Some of them come from poor families. To be able to make money instead of being like field hands for these universities. Now, there are some drawbacks, which is the main thing I want to talk about in this. And let's talk about it. So, the name, image, likeness. These college players can now be under contract and they can get paid. And recruiting is not just recruiting anymore. They're offering money to these players. And I say ain't nothing wrong with it. Because look how much money the schools make by them being there. And the schools are probably benefiting even more. The schools that can actually land a player. So now, if a guy's like, I don't want to go out of state, I want to stay at home. University is only 10 minutes away. So now, the school right by his house can be like, well, we'll give you $300,000 a year to play for us. He'd be like, it's better than nothing. I'm going to take it. So that'll give players more of an incentive to stay at home. Now, I don't know how that's going to work for people like Deion Sanders down at Jackson State, but I know it's going to probably work for schools like the Power 5 schools and the second tier schools like Wake Forest and stuff like that. You know, they'll be able to, you're going to see a lot more upsets in college football and college basketball, mainly college football, because now these people, all they got to do is offer a player, well, we'll give you $800,000 a year to come play for us. He not going to keep, well, let me see what the other school's talking about. A lot of the players, they not going to do that. They're going to be like, you got a deal. But here is the drawback. And you could say I'm a pinch of an insider, because when I used to play, there was a similar thing going on. It just was a lot less money, and it was the NFL. Now, what was happening is, here's how it'll work. If you don't get drafted, you still could go to a training camp. And if more than one training camp wanted you, back then the minimum or the max, well, it might have been the minimum, was $10,000. And that $10,000 you would get up front, mostly in a check, because there wasn't really no direct deposits and stuff like that back then. Not that I know of, at least. So you would get a check for $10,000. Now, I knew back then, I don't know about now, it's probably still the same. I was told that the NFL, they got paid every other Tuesday. And what you would get is, you would get your check, but you would get like your food allowance too. It was called per diem or something like that. And it was like maybe $130 a day. So you would get that as well. And usually that back then was like in cash. So it was incentives then, but like in training camp, if let's say you get an offer for $10,000. Another team could say, well, we'll give you $20,000 to come to our training camp. So that was happening a lot. But back then, like, the difference was you didn't have to even go to college in some cases to make it to the NFL, because if you were in the minor league that I was in, you was being scouted anyway. Those close to my age know that Eric Swan, he came out of that league that I was in, or at least supposed to be in. If I would have went to school, I got a chance to do a little bit of it and get scouted. But I didn't go back down there to school. And so one of the coaches said, well, you can live with me till you get your stuff straight. I still didn't go back. I was on some dirt job. So it was a little bit going on back then, and it was different because if they found out you was taking money, you would lose your eligibility to play in college. Even if it was just you getting a hot dog. Like, if they found out, you would lose your eligibility. So the league I was in raised funds through charity for the road trips, so on and so forth, because you couldn't take money. But now you can. Here's the negative on it. If you know anything like I know, being on a college campus, you get hazed. There's a thing called hazing, right? So there was a little bit of hazing going on even in training camp down there. Just a little bit. Those guys was being kind of nice. They was just hazing a little bit though. But in the pros, you come in there already making more than some of those guys, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a lot more. The hazing is gonna become more serious. There's gonna be a lot more dislikes. People are gonna be getting kicked off of teams because that player who ain't got his contract yet, you come in, you done made $11 million already, and you play the same position as him. He ain't gonna like that, man. I'm telling you. Also, I believe a lot of players, after college, they're gonna be like, I don't think I wanna even play no more. So you're gonna have a lot of guys quitting sports after their college career. They're gonna quit. Cause they done already, I heard about one guy that they said he got offered $11 million and turned it down to one of the major schools. 11 million, man. He turned it down. I'm telling you, for the most part, it's gonna help sports, but it's a new way of possibly hurting it a little bit too. See, originally, those major top recruits, they weren't going to schools like Jackson State, Grambling, and a lot of them still not gonna go there because those SWAC schools and like the Division 1AA schools like that, they're not gonna be able to offer the same money as say Alabama or Tennessee, all those schools. So it's the same problem to a certain extent. It's just gonna be a little different. Now it ain't gonna be the recruiting thing, it's gonna be the money thing. And think about it, if you was these kids, what would you do? So now here in Wisconsin, people are trying to get our running back, Braylon Allen. They're trying to get him. I hear Michigan is lining up and some other schools as well. They want him to be the running back. Because these schools, they're going to benefit even more because now they get these top players. You ain't going to just get people, alumni, and people that go to the school to come to the game. You going to get people from the city that keep up with college recruiting. stuff like that to come to the games. So ticket sales ain't gonna go down, they're gonna go up. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. They're gonna haze those guys even more. And it might get a little more testy. See, at first it was a joke, like Giannis here in Milwaukee, he puts popcorn all in the rookies' cars. But like I said, think about it like this. You gonna have, let's say they got a cornerback that was taken in the 6th round. And he playing a little bit because he's good. But he ain't got his money yet. He in his 3rd year, he ain't got his money yet. How you think he gonna look at a player that plays the same position that done already made $11 million? The hazing is gonna get worse. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. So, that's all I have for that. That's the truth. And y'all don't believe me? Just remember me telling you this. You're going to hear about the stories. You're going to hear about a lot more about players transferring because they're getting offered more money. That's how it's going to be. But you also going to hear about the hazing stories. Guys getting kicked off the team for doing too much. Watch what I'm telling you. I know how the human psyche is. United States humans can be very jealous of a number of things. Thanks for watching. More videos to come. Keep tuning in.